Tennessee's most intriguing position group heading into fall camp, which will begin on Wednesday, is what?
Now, this is interesting. I have an intriguing take. Because everybody's going to say the secondary because they want to see the new units. And I get it. Secondary is intriguing. Everybody talks about offensive line, receivers, and quarterback. Everybody's most excited about. But I'm interested in their tight end rotation, Dave. I'm interested in who emerges for Tennessee at tight end because I think they want Ethan Davis to emerge as a superstar at the position, and we don't know for sure if he will yet. So I'm leaning Ethan Davis, and because of that, the tight end position.
Okay, so I'm going to go quarterback. I'm picking my four. I'm not going to give you an other option because I think these are the most intriguing, and I don't think it's close. I'm going to go tight end, which you said, which I hadn't thought of until you threw that in there, but it's a very good one. By the way, I saw the Alabama transfer. Can you help me with his name? I saw him recently. Good size.
I think that Holden stays. My mind's
Kitzelman.
Miles Kitzelman.
Miles Kitzelman. Yes, saw him the other day. I'm going to say tight ends aren't as important because I always feel like in the background, and I'm not disagreeing that Ethan Davis, if he's at his best, would be a monstrous factor in Tennessee's development because he's like a wide receiver at tight end. But I still think that in the back of his pocket, Josh Heupel says to himself, if this Holden stays or Ethan Davis or whoever doesn't come through at tight end, then I feel like I can make do with 4 wide receivers, which we talked about a little bit last year when Tennessee had to replace Princeton Fant. Turns out McAllen Castles was fantastic and might make an NFL team. So that didn't come up last year, but I think it still could. Tennessee's most intriguing position group is tight end, gets a whopping 0% so far. Sorry, Caleb. Secondary, 30%. Quarterback, 36%. Running back, 27%. You mentioned the secondary. The secondary is very intriguing because we don't – that is the only position group that we can't give you a very good educated guess / hypothesis on who the starters will be. We did that yesterday talking about the corners, but do we know who the safeties are going to be? Caleb, if I put you on the spot immediately, who would you pick?
I mean, okay, I have my predicted starters already for the secondary, and you just tell me if I'm crazy. Okay.
Okay. And I'm not going to be able to call you crazy because I'm ignorant in this particular scenario. So I think you could be absolutely right. Go ahead.
I think Jacoby Thomas starts at free safety, the MTSU transfer. I think Boo Carter starts at strong safety. I think Jermod McCoy and Ricky Gibson take the 2 cornerback spots, and I think Jalen McMurray steps in at nickel.
I was completely with you till Jalen McMurray, and I'm not arguing. I'm just asking you why.
Because he's a veteran player. I see him as another Gabe Jeudy-Lally type. The transfer from Temple, very smart veteran player, maybe a little bit limited athletically, but as a smart player, the type of guy you kind of want to put on the field. You know those type of players I'm talking about, Dave? The guys you like. There may be. He is. Here's a name. Here's a throwback name. Think for defensive backs. Now, this guy was a linebacker, but think Ryan Carl for defensive backs. Remember, Ryan Carl was not physically meant to start at linebacker for Tennessee.
Not compared to the guys that came before him. Nowadays, he'd be fine. I think he could be a Keenan Pili type.
I don't think he's fast enough.
Okay. You're probably right.
Yeah. He was undersized.
He was one of my guys. I don't want to rip on Ryan Carl.
No, I mean, he's a good guy, but like he was a smart player, very smart player. Jalen McMurray, and by the way, Gabe Jeudy-Lally was that for the secondary, right? Gabe Jeudy-Lally was just like maybe a step short and an inch too small and a pound too light. Does that make sense? You know what I mean?
Yes.
For the NFL?
I do.
But he was a very smart player, so he was a reliable nickel. I think Jalen McMurray is going to be that for Tennessee this year.
I want to give you the opportunity, if I may, to go ahead and sign up to Hooker's Corner, brought to you by our good friends at Sports Treasures. And then I'm going to tell you why Caleb's got it all wrong. You can vote on our YouTube page. Tight now has a vote at 8%, secondary 38%, quarterback 31%, running back 23%. I'm going to tell you why it is none of the ones we've really discussed. As a matter of fact, it's on the board, but we haven't even, I don't think, said the word yet. But let me go ahead and share with you that you can join Hooker's Corner, brought to you by our good friends at Sports Treasures, just $9.98 a month. We appreciate the donation that we just got. I think they call that what do they call that, a badge or whatever? We'd love for you to be a part of Hooker's Corner for just $9.98 a month. It'll have increased recruiting coverage. We'll be talking about David Sanders and Tennessee's newest recruit, the number 1 quarterback in 2026 that they might just get, and more. Also, you'll have some insight to me and Caleb, and it's brought to you by our good friends at Sports Treasures. Sports Treasures, over 5 million sports treasures and so much more. Please tell them that Off the Hook Sports sent you. Follow on Facebook for the best sports memorabilia. That is right down below. Facebook, Sports Treasures TN, Sports Treasures TN. What about running backs? Let's just say, for instance, that Peyton Lewis is what I think he is, and that is a talented tailback who struggles a little bit in pass pro. You like Peyton Lewis, and you think he'll play a lot, but that would put him on the bench, right, if he struggles in pass pro?
I don't think it would, because it ain't like Dylan Sampson's worth the you-know-what in pass pro.
I'm assuming that Dylan Sampson with a year under his belt will be better. And I'm assuming that I will also take a step further and say some of that could have been Nico with some bad adjustments of the line. Just
no,
I don't know that.
No.
What? Okay.
I saw Dylan Sampson's whiff so badly on that block in the Citrus Bowl. There was no way it was an adjustment. Okay. There's no adjustment you needed.
Okay. That being said, if Tennessee doesn't have a playmaker at running back, is that a concern? Jalen Wright was a playmaker last year. He extended yards. Jabari Small, God bless him, he maximized the yards that he could get. But if a specific play blocked for 6 yards, he got about 6 yards. Jalen Wright would extend those 6-yard runs because of his power into 9, 10, 11, 12-yard runs or more. So if they don't have any sort of game breaker or any sort of guy that can get yards after contact, is that not disconcerting to you?
Not at all. I don't think it's a problem. And here's why. If you get those 6-yard runs, Heupel has shown this. He'll milk you down the field for those 6-yard runs. He's not afraid to do that. I mean, he will.
Okay, let me change gears.
Well,
you're right. Let me change gears. He's getting 1-yard runs, whereas Jalen Wright would have gotten 3 or 4-yard runs.
That's a problem.
Okay.
You need to get 3 or 4 yards in this offense every time you take the ball. But I feel like as long as this is where it comes to the interior blocking is so important that I feel like an average running back can get the 3 or 4 yards. This is why I say that, the Cooper Mazes and Javonte Spraggins. I mean, Dave, I got a question. Would you rather lose Dylan Sampson or Javonte Spraggins? You'd rather lose Dylan Sampson, wouldn't you? Contrary to what Derek Dooley would say.
Yeah, that was the dumbest comment ever when he said a running back makes an offensive line. I want to say I'd rather have Dylan Sampson. I may be higher on him, but I also don't know that the depth's there with Peyton and Cam Selden, who's not going to be 100%.
Heupel's offense is a waste without the interior blocking, though.
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're going, but is a guy not ready like Bison Lang to slide over to guard? Is a guy not ready like Shamarov? I mean, I think he's going to play tackle, but slide in the guard. So somebody has to be competently ready.
But there's a difference between filling a void and being elite. I think Javonte Spraggins is an elite blocker, and basically Javonte Spraggins and Cooper Mays will create 4-yard runs, 5-yard runs every time. So there won't be those 1-yard runs. They'll always be 5 or 6 yards. And that's going to, and again, the Heupel, The bread and butter is obviously the 70-yard bombs that he wants. But those 6-yard runs are how he sets those up, and he will live by them. If you commit to taking away the bombs, he will live by the 6-yard runs all the way down the field. He's not Spurrier. He's not going to get aggressive and impatient.
No, I agree with that. And what do you think Tennessee averaged last year in yards per carry? I'm just curious what you think.
Well, see, this is tricky with college because quarterback rushing stats are factored into the team rushing stats. But I'm looking it up now, and they averaged over 5 yards a carry.
Yeah, they averaged 5.5. I'm sorry. They averaged 4.96 yards a carry, so almost 5. The leader was Alabama at 5.57. So Tennessee came in at 8th. Would they have been 8th without Jalen Wright's power? I'd argue no. I think they would have been lower, around about 12th, right behind Missouri at 4.1. I think he extended runs that much, and I don't know that Tennessee has that, and that is a major concern.
You're also forgetting the fact that you're also leaving out the fact that Cooper Mays missed the first 5 games. The running game isn't there without Cooper Mays. So, true. I mean, Cooper Mays and Devontae Sprague, I'm sorry. You lose Jalen Wright, Cooper Mays is fully healthy. Give me fully healthy Cooper Mays 100 out of 100 times.
I won't argue with that.